Greetings, friends. We meet today in the last day of distribution of the Libra Solar Festival. We use this opportunity to meditate together on the unfolding divine plan, invoking the hierarchy to guide us in our understanding of how the common good unfolds and manifests for everyone. In this cycle of Libra, we work with the theme that we hold during the times when Sun moves through the signs of the Cardinal Cross, of which Libra is a part. And the theme is new leadership, cleaning the house of politics and the house of religion. This is one of the prerequisites for the reappearance of the Christ. And following our preparatory meeting, summarizing different seeds that were shared in the circle, the topic that we suggest for us to hold in this cycle between the time of the full moon following. Aquarian leadership through discernment from the heart, building the new infrastructure. So today we will meditate and we'll have some time to share our first impressions that we receive as a group. So let us begin. As always, we start with sounding our group statement of purpose. Over to you, Birgit.
Thank you. Our purpose is to magnetize the ideas of common good, freedom, and brotherhood as the highest values of humanity at this time. We recognize and cherish diversity of perspectives in our group, creating a space capable of invoking, receiving, interpreting, and radiating a higher synthetic vision. We serve as an Islamic outpost, building a group bridge of Buddhic energy. We evoke the soul of humanity. We envision humanity as being the seed that is flowering. We prepare the way for the reappearance of the coming one. And over to you, Tracy.
Thank you, Brigitte. Thank you, everyone, for being here today. We usually start our full moon meeting by reading the seed thoughts that came from our first quarter moon meeting. Through our meditation and discussion at that time, we have 10 seed thoughts from which we have created our topic for this cycle. So I'm going to go ahead now and read the seed thoughts from which our topic was created. Number 1, it's the principle of group leadership, Aquarian, for the open heart and aligned with the forces of light, grow and take root. Number 2, new infrastructure leads to new leadership. Number 3, to all without judgment. Number 4, let us listen with interest, respect, curiosity, and loving open-mindedness, recognizing the similarities that we share. Number 5. New leadership is aligned with the plan to recognize the need and to manifest common good. Number 6. Look and listen with hope for what is true and what is newly emerging. Number 7. Through the heart, developing the bridge that will enable the renewal of human society through living in both worlds more. Number 8. The importance of heart, mind, and soul in new leadership. Number 9. Let the infrastructure of listening hearts define the new world. And our final seed thought: discernment, affinity, and creation. And now we are going to go ahead and move into our meditation for the full moon at this time, our full moon meditation for this Libra cycle on the Cardinal Cross. So over to you, Jill. Thank you.
Thank you, Tracy. Hello, everyone. Great to be with everyone again. As has just been said, the topic is Aquarian leadership through discernment from the heart, building the new infrastructure. And of course, we are moving into new times and new ways at this present time, and we will need the leaders that are right for the job. And so they won't be so power crazed as some we know now, and will have more thought for the ordinary person. And as already mentioned, Libra is a sign of balance or equilibrium, the midway point between two opposites. Some of us may have lived and learned enough to gain the ability to remain calm and balanced when facing challenging situations. For others, it may be a work in progress, but it's to be hoped that new leaders will be able to keep their balance as they work. The energies of Libra are there to help everyone. In the Rays and the Initiations, page 404, the following can be found. Masters working on the second path are working in relation to and in contact with certain great lives who work on the periphery of the constellation Libra, the balancers. This is due to the fact that those masters who can work with magnetic energies and with the three laws, these being the law of attraction, the law of magnetic work, and the cosmic law of synthesis, have achieved a balance which makes their work possible. It involves also a poised attention and directive power, permitting the inflow of energies from Libra, which could not otherwise enter our planetary life at all. These Libran energies enter our solar system via the heart of the Sun and are peculiarly amenable to magnetic attraction and distribution. On the following page 405, it puts, "Those masters whose decision it is to tread the second path are taught the control and direction of systemic energies and of certain energies emanating from Libra and from one of the stars in the constellation of the Great Bear." It is added that on the second path, there are two blended influences of Gemini and Libra. A triangle is completed by our solar system. The dual energy of Gemini is brought to a point of balance by means of the influence of Libra. And this balanced dual energy is released then into our solar system. This entering stream of balanced energies forms the second path. That latter part was taken from page 425 of the Arrays and the Initiations. We should honour what is good from the past and look to include it in the new in an improved, modified way. No, I meant in the now, in an improved, modified way. The middle way. Libra wants to share its energies, perception, and wisdom. Air signs function in the mental realms and are naturally communicative. Libra looks for opportunities to help in furthering cooperation and to assist where needed. Ruled by Venus, Libra energies eventually align the personality with the higher planes of the will of the self. It is easy to see where this depicts our work. We try to encourage cooperation in all areas of human life. We also know the necessity of cooperation in group work. We support each other, knowing that encouragement achieves beneficial results, while criticism can result in the person receiving it withdrawing into their shell. At this point in our group journey, we see that progress is more rapid when the group, the one unit, works harmoniously, with all playing their part as they are able. Libran energies can draw us into this method of service. Humanity is still swaying on its path. We witness the left versus the right, the good as we see it versus the bad as we see it. the calmness versus the fervour in humanity. But there is more opposition now to extremes. Peacekeeping organisations and those wanting now the best for all planetary life are becoming more prominent. In recognition of this, let's say the mantra of reunification. The mantra of unification. The souls of all are one, and we are one with them. We seek to love, not hate. We seek to serve and not exact due service. We seek to heal, not hurt. Let pain bring due reward of light and love. Let the soul control the outer form and life and all events, and bring to light the love that underlies the happenings of the time. Let vision come and insight. Let the future stand revealed. Let inner union demonstrate, and outer cleavages be gone. Let love prevail. Let all people love. When Arjuna found himself confronted by enemies who were those of his own household, he was confused as to his duty. He was discouraged as he sought to balance himself between the pairs of opposites. In a treatise on white magic, it puts, his prayer then should be the famous prayer of India, uttered by the heart, comprehended by the head, and supplemented by an ardent life of service to humanity. This prayer was the Gayatri, which we can now say together. The Gayatri. O thou who givest sustenance to the universe, from whom all things proceed, to whom all things return, unveil to us the face of the true spiritual sun, hidden by a disk of golden light, that we may know the truth and do our whole duty as we journey to thy sacred feet. As he, Arjuna, then perseveres and struggles, he surmounts his problems and brings his desires and thoughts under control. The second field of knowledge is revealed. Knowledge of the self in the spiritual body. Knowledge of the ego as it expresses itself through the medium of the causal body. The Karana Sarira, I don't actually know how to pronounce that, but that's my effort. And awareness of that source of spiritual energy, which is the motivating impulse behind the lower manifestation. The disk of golden light pierced, the true sun is seen. The path is found, and the aspirant struggles forward into ever clearer light. Once the balance is acquired, the master is found. The path to the master has to be carved out by a man himself, and there is no short or easy road out of darkness into light. That's a quote from a treatise on white magic. This gives any of us who might be concerned about our own progress in our work hope and reassurance. Worry hampers progress rather than hastening it. In the centre of the will of God I stand. Naught shall deflect my will from his. I implement that will by love. I turn towards the field of service. I, the triangle divine, work out that will within the square and serve my fellow men. Balance can be seen in a state of goodwill, as mentioned in the World Goodwill newsletter recently. It says, wisdom teachings suggest that higher energies pouring into human consciousness are one of the causes of the current crisis in democracy. The mental atmosphere is disturbed by the stimulation of lower appetites, desires, and delusions of separation, together with a deepening of ideas of relationship, oneness, and freedom. This disturbance is awakening a quest for dialogue and reflection across the ideological spectrum. Democratic processes are quietly developing to balance analysis of different approaches with intuitive understandings of oneness, goodness, and truth. And I'll just put a couple of things I've pinched off of good old Facebook again to encouraging pieces. You can do anything if you have enthusiasm. Enthusiasm is the yeast that makes your hopes rise to the stars. Enthusiasm is the spark in your eye, the swing in your gait, the grip of your hand, the irresistible surge of your will and energy to execute your ideas. Enthusiasm is at the bottom of all progress. And the other bit is, we find our true spiritual selves, not by adding anything, but by discarding everything that gets in the way of seeing what we already are. And now we can finish with the great invocation. The great invocation. From the point of light within the mind of God, let light stream forth into the minds of men. Let light descend on earth. From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into the hearts of men. From the center where the will of God is known, let purpose. I've got a mind block now because I can't find my thing to copy.
From the center where the will of God is known,
You.
Will to will, little wills of humanity, the purpose which the masters know and serve. From the center which we call the race of humanity, let the plan of love and light work out, and may it seal the door where evil dwells. Let light
and love and power restore the plan on earth.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn. Om. 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 Right, I'll finish there for the time being. Thank you. Sorry about that blip.
Thank you, Jillian. It's a beautiful introduction that helps us to align with the energies of Libra. And let us bring our focus now to the topic of this month, acquiring leadership through discernment from the heart, building the new infrastructure. Let us visualize a group chalice in the center of the group, focusing the topic in the chalice. Let us raise it upwards towards the hierarchy. Into the energies of Libra. And we invoke hierarchical guidance, asking to impress our group mind with the vision of the unfolding plan. Let us hold our topic in the group chalice in the energies of Libra in silence for some time. Acquiring leadership through discernment from the heart. Building the new infrastructure. Let us reflect on the following questions. How can working in a balanced way lead to acquiring leadership through discernment from the heart? How can working in a balanced way lead to Aquarian leadership through discernment from the heart? We ask the hierarchy to impress us, giving us answers on the following question. As the democratic institutions undergo the crisis of transformation in many countries, what new Aquarian forms of governance with focus on common good may emerge with the imminent externalization of the hierarchy? As the democratic institutions undergo the crisis of transformation in many nations, what new Aquarian forms of governance with focus on common good may emerge with the imminent externalization of the hierarchy? And another question we ask the hierarchy to guide us. Actions speak louder than words. How do we learn to intuit better in both our inner and outer world as we assess and begin to build the infrastructure of the Golden Age? How do we learn to intuit better in both our inner and outer world as we assess and begin to build the infrastructure of the Golden Age? Let us now gently shift our golden group chalice to the mental plane of the group, where we receive and formulate our impressions, preparing to share them in our group circle. And when we are ready, we can open our group space to share any impressions that we could recognize and formulate through our group space.
I would like to start this time, if I might, say hello to everyone. I want to, first of all, thank Jill for taking responsibility to help our leaders, our focalizers here in this group, and become a focalizer herself for a month. And I want to just say how wonderful I think it would be if everyone would just take 1 month and help out the group. Maybe a month when, at the time of year when you feel most centered or you feel most confident. It would just be a wonderful thing if we were all contributing like that. I would love to hear each and everyone's voice and ideas and perspective on all these things we talk about by taking a month to be a focalizer. Also, thinking about the questions that have been asked, these wonderful questions, what came to me was something, through question 2, was something like what we do already. I can picture governments being more closely, listening more closely to their people, not going to the center of government and becoming sort of lost in all the issues and so forth going on at that one place. But if there was a close contact with the people each group represents or each person represents. I know in this country we have, we're divided into states and people, we have representatives from each state. So, and that's, I think, pretty common in some form for most democratic countries. And if we could have the people really aware of the important issues in their particular area, much like we do seed thoughts. If each person could present a few main concerns in their area and then have people who were aware enough and intuitive enough to take those seed thoughts and sort of separate them into sort of specific concerns, specific needs, specific focus groups, and then let those focus groups work together and present to the whole body. And I could picture a sort of synthesis, a plan that sort of synthesizes these things. Working from the heart a lot as well as the mind, that could make a synthesis of all of this, and then would enable people to steer the nation in ways that would be very transformative and very progressive for the good of all. Not just all new ideas, but taking what is good and helping it grow. I see more that sort of thing, taking what is good already there and then just helping it grow to some new form that might be needed. But I do believe, as it stated in 3, that we definitely need everyone to be intuitive and to be things to be heartfelt, as well as mentally sound. And we can build that infrastructure. Those are the thoughts that I had. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
like to share something that I read this morning, actually. I am a member of the TS, which I'm sure some of you are also. And I get their Quest magazine that comes out monthly. And this issue for this fall, or quarterly, I'm sorry. And the issue for the fall season, they're celebrating the 100 years of the founded Theosophical Society in November 17th of 1875. One of the articles in here really captured my interest. And the name of the article is The Cant About Masters. It's actually Master Kutumi's last letter to Annie Besant. And they actually have it printed out here. I highlighted a few things because I think it's very relevant for our times also, although he's talking to her about the TS, and she, of course, was the president of the TS, I think 90 years. This letter was written 90 years after Blavatsky passed away. So I'm just going to read a couple of things because I think it kind of hit me. This is talking about the TS. They must, but it counts for all of us, no matter what society or what you're in. The TS must safely be ushered into the new century. This is from Master Kutumi. Be not guided by emotion, but learn to stand alone. Be accurate and critical rather than credulous. The rules must be few and simple and acceptable to all. No one has the right to claim authority over a pupil or his conscience. The crest wave of intellectual advancement must be taken hold of and guided into spirituality. The essence of the higher thoughts collectively must guide all action. Never subject to ourselves the will of another. Give the correct note of action. The best corrective of error is an honest and open-minded examination of all facts, subjective and objective. He was discussing the TS and said it was meant to be the cornerstone of the future religions of humanity. He said those who lead must leave aside their weak predilections for the forms and ceremonies of any particular creed and show themselves to be true, both in inner thought and outward obedience. That has to do with the action. Actions speak louder than words. I just kind of picked out a few sentences from this that I thought really resonated with me, that resonate with what we're talking about right now and how the new leadership in the Aquarian age is coming about, and the foundation, which is brotherhood, which includes all of mankind. And I thought of it as a balance with the lever in the center, the lever that the teeter-totter of, and that lever or the middle that holds that balance is the brotherhood. And something that's very important is our interconnectedness. Whether it's religion, politics, government, whatever we do, I think the most important thing for the foundation is to acknowledge our interconnectedness. And through quantum physics, for those that are not on the spiritual path, I think quantum physics, obviously being the key of this century, is showing the interconnectedness of everything, the cosmos, the microcosm to the macrocosm, just everything. So the interconnectedness is so important for whatever leadership is going to be the infrastructure for the new religions, politics, government. That has to be one of the main standards. And of course, higher thoughts collectively. So thank you.
Thank you, Tracy. As we meditated, I got this image of interlinked network. And this image of interlinked network is I've seen in several occasions. We know that as above, so below, and probably even seen those comparative two images, one of the interconnected network of neuron connections in our brain, and the image of interconnected of network of the universe structure. And they're strikingly similar. And a couple of days ago, I've been doing some landscaping work, and I was digging up the pile of dirt that's been a compost that we made, and it's been standing there for a couple of years, not used, and so it's been grown through with the roots. And so as I was shoveled, that's what became dirt that used to be compost. It's half of that mass that every time I get on my shovel, it would be this network of what I thought it's a root system, but maybe it's this what were like known as mycelium network, this network of this fungi that interpenetrate everything. And so because I needed only soil, so I have every time I would get it on my shovel, I had to pull that interconnected bunch of roots and these organisms out of it, kind of shaking the soil out. And approximately half of that mass, it was that network of those roots. And so I got this image in the meditation that it's the same, visually it's the same as it's either neuron connections or universe structure, or this mycelium network. It's the same network of light that's now emerging in humanity. And it's grows, it's extremely fast, the way how we interconnect. And I think through our work, we fostering this process. And that's where eventually humanity is heading to, of being more and more horizontally interconnected, creating those structures for self-regulation and self-governance. And there seems like a certain measure of telepathy that will be present in those future structures that will regulate human society. And it's difficult yet to put it in words adequately expressing that, but there's a sense of humanity really becoming and heading towards becoming that organism with interconnected light infrastructure.
I had the impression about
Helen, your sound is not very clear. Can you do something, please?
there we are. Sorry.
Yes,
I couldn't remember
that's
the
good.
word either, and it was telepathy. So the computer wasn't functioning, and I wasn't functioning. Yeah, I would just pick up on this idea of telepathy. It came to me. I think it was in the third question, and it seems the leadership needs to be based on truth. And I think if we work, or leaders work more with telepathy, then you can't mask with lies what is there, because it's so straight from the horse's mouth, so to speak. And I think that the use of telepathy will be part of the leadership, and I think it will be groups like somebody mentioned, like our little groups here and there. We work better when we work together. I'm sure we all find when we read or listen to sections of the blue books very often, when there's a group listening and focusing on it, there's so much more comes through, so much greater understanding. So I think that will be part of that. But I did also wonder about the place of the devas and how they see sound. So they see these words and then they build. And there are a great many lies in the words that go round the world. And I wonder how much they build on what they hear, and how the devas work with telepathy. I know in the exercises in the book that DK gives, he does refer to sounding the word you're endeavoring to radiate out, sound it very quietly. But I'm not sure that applies to the sort of telepathy where we're talking about this mycelium, this network. But they were just thoughts that came in, which I thought I'd share as you mentioned. Thank you.
Wow, this is so interesting, Helen, that you said that with the devas, and they can see color, and they respond to it by building things. I think that's part of, like, when we talk about telepathy, you're going deeper into not the word salad. Again, what people are saying and their actions do not meet what they're saying, kind of thing. So what's being built is chaos, or it doesn't match or resonate with our old standards. So what you said, that correlation between the day victim and their building, and of course we're all a part of that, right? Our thoughts have mental devas, right? And our emotions and all that. So it's just so interesting that you said that to me, that you said that and brought that up to us. So and Alexander, you mentioned what you gave such a good visual of that interconnectedness when you're talking roots and everything in the dirt and all that. And it also reminded me of the beehives and that type of thing, the networking. Um, and yeah, I think we're going back to that beehive mentality. We're going to have to, that's going to be part of that's the brotherhood, just like the bees have their hive or whatever. So yeah, thank you for that too.
We are on this, devas understand law. So when we speak to devas, we have to make a law. And clairvoyance, people with clairvoyance, they see the telepathy between devas, like colors or sounds. So that's interesting, I think. And I also think we are all connected with the etheric network, and I guess this is also in work in telepathy. And I also thought what is really important for leadership is to cooperate with each other. That is not something you see everywhere. In Denmark, we have seventh ray in our ray makeup. So I think we are better in making groups and working together than most. Only when it is time for election, then the tone gets a bit more sharp and quarreling. But I think working together as a group work and making compromises and working over the middle of the politicians is very important to work together to get at least some of each ideas to work, and I also thought that in the UN, in the Security Council, they have problems with the big countries that have veto, because then they get nowhere. And in Europe, in EU, they have some of the same problems with one or two countries that is making veto, and then they have to somehow make the most majority to work together, and of course taking due measure for those who are against it, but finding some compromise there. And I also thought that hierarchy is, well, a hierarchy, and I think it's only works for the masters. We are not ready yet in humanity, because when one is ruling the whole hierarchy, then in humanity it is often tyranny or despot. It is a hard leader who is ambition is to rule everything and not take the others' concerns in the making of the laws. So we need a government and infrastructure that works for humanity, and that can so that we can work together with from the heart. Yeah, thank you.
Such good conversation today. Wow. What came to me while Annetta was talking, and she brought up some things that I was just thinking of, so thank you. very much. Again, telepathy. I guess we're all interconnected in our group. Transparency is maybe the start of this telepathy because of the internet and the different things, social media, even though it has bad points to it, the good points are you can pick out the ones that are in it for selfish motives. Um, and what came to me is I think hierarchy is possibly maybe one of the ways that they're trying to help humanity is to help us weed out the selfish motive politicians or religious leaders and that type of thing, because they're exposing themselves to the public um, throughout the world now. So it's not just what's going on in my country or your country. It's all of it is coming out. So I do think that we're obviously on the right path. Uh, and I do think that things like the internet, social media that is helping um, average man, humanity, to spark something, a seed within themselves, that telepathic connection. So yeah, thank you. And I do, and again, like what Ananta was saying, I mean, I think the motive, I think the new leadership infrastructure is going to be right down to the motive. If they get rid of term limits and they get rid of making money off of becoming a politician or becoming a career politician, anything like that, setting limits of how much you can spend to run for office or whatever. I think that's going to weed out a lot of people too and find a better balance because the money they spend just on their campaigns and that could feed a small country. So thank you.
As you said, Tracy, there have been so many wonderful comments and sharing. So I'm kind of flooded with ideas, and I am going back to each question and going to propose some questions within each that maybe we all need to consider. So for question number one, the first thing that came to me is, how do I define leadership in relation to what is called discernment with the heart, which is spiritual discernment? So I need to answer that question, and I will ask that question of others in group formation, because I think we need to hone in on what we collectively define as the qualities of that leadership, because we are in these spiritual discernment groups every day and in so many. And then how do we bring that to the group? You know, the suggestion early on to rotate in and take a chance to be the leader of even, formulating what one of these meetings would be for a month. The second question, I think, well, as I read DK, I think it's in the externalization in other books, there's really, he says, fundamentally the essence of any one of the terms that we give to what were then the, different types of government. Any one has great potential within it. So I'm hesitant to use the word democratic institutions without having a real sense of the qualities again of those institutions and what shows up when an institution begins to transform, what's present. I need to answer that in my own mind, and I would like to have a better sense of how others are looking at that. The example of, Denmark, I've seen things from Norway, I've seen things from Finland, from different countries around the world, Mexico, at different ways in which the institutions are being redesigned or, usurped or destroyed. And how can that then show up as governance for the common good? And to prepare the way for the hierarchy to be able to come in. And the third, yes, actions speak louder than words. So I'll just go back to the formula that was given years ago. It's like show up, pay attention, tell the truth without blame or judgment, and be open to the outcome, not attached to the outcome. So for me, if I can test myself and look at what I've been doing in all the arenas of telepathic communication, for there is the astral telepathy, there is mental telepathy, and there is soul telepathy that we wrap into our lives. And so when I walk into a place, a store, a school, wherever I walk, I'm walking into an arena to define what I'm getting. You know, what's the telepathy that's active there? So I have many questions, and I really value what this group has given us in terms of food for thought. It's a beautiful, beautiful way to close Libra and prepare for Scorpio.
Thank you, friends. Let us continue holding the tension of group focus as we continue holding the topic of this month in our group field, acquiring leadership through discernment from the heart, building the new infrastructure. We will meet again for the quarter moon meeting next week. We will communicate separately the day when we meet. And then we meet at the time of the new moon to offer our most resonant seeds into the group chalice to be magnetized with our meditation and radiated into the stream of mental field of humanity to inspire and guide the sensitive minds of human family, helping humanity in its path of evolution. And that is our service. And now we closing our meeting for today. And as always, I invite anyone who feels drawn to sound the mantra of your choice to close our work today.
I would be happy to sound the mantra of group fusion. I am one with my group brothers and sisters, and all that I have is theirs. May the love of the one soul pour forth to all. May the energy of the one soul lift and aid all. May the thoughts which this group and all our groups create reach and encourage all. May the energy of the divine self be shed abroad in our hearts through our groups and throughout the world.